Okay, we are live. Welcome, everybody. I am here once again with my best friend in the market, Scott Redler, and we are out with our Friday party. So let us know how you are doing out there. Pop comments in. Tell us what you're trading today. Tell us how you're feeling. All that good stuff while we pull up the disclosures and stuff. Just 1 second. Okay. Yep, we're going to be talking NVIDIA today. We're going to be talking Eli Lilly, a bunch of other fun stuff. Let's get those disclosures out of the way. You guys need to see all this stuff to make sure all our legal people are happy. I'm going to go through Scott's positions quickly. So, Scott, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling better today. Today I actually came in very light. I wound up, picking up a few different longs early. We had the 830 jobs number. Kind of felt like it was a little hot, wasn't too hot, and then you had all those different embedded things that everyone was pointing to, and the revisions. And I was just like, we've been down for 4 days in a row. Just feels like we're going to lift a little bit. So I was able to buy some SPY, some Qs. Actually some NVIDIA, AMD when it was red, and it's always good to be green on a Friday, especially after a week that was. I can't say. I feel like I should have been able to telegraph it more. Right, we were up so much in October, November, December, but you still felt, or I felt, as if maybe there would be some kind of new flows push to get mega cap to one more level. But it didn't happen. On Tuesday, they came in, they sold the market, and we've been sold every day since. So I had to adjust real fast. So on Tuesday, I lost a bunch of money, but I could have lost a lot more. So good decision, right? In the right conditions. I say, got to make the right decisions in the right conditions. And we didn't know what kind of conditions we were going to have coming into this year. So they chose, instead of to push the market one more level, to sell it down. So I adjusted. So coming in today, I was pretty vocal on the alpha team, actually, with Chillo. He was very vocal too, and we were buying the SPYs pre-market. I switched to the Qs, and good day so far. And now it's it's 2:33, and just so everybody knows, there's a piece of news just came out on Apple, because I'm going to be we're going to be doing this every week. I'm looking around. I'm still trading. I'm a trader first. I'm trying to make money. I want to make sure I manage my positions. But we'll also talk about what's happening. There was just something just came out about Apple with antitrust, and the U.S. is close. So that's why we just had this little pull in the SPYs and the Qs. So we'll see. If you are trading Apple, I would watch 180.42. It just tested the prior low once again and held it. That's something you want to watch going into the close to see if there's any real big impact on this tech bounce, which is trying to hold up.
Okay, all right. 180.42. Mr. Redler has set the price in Apple.
Can I put it up for a second? Do we have a second?
Yeah, of course. We always have time for Scott's.
Okay, I'm just going to put I just want to put the chart up real fast. That's me. I go present. Mm-hmm. Okay, share screen. Apple. So here's Apple right now. Apple was probably part of the reason why tech was really weak this week. We came in, obviously, Apple put its top in on December 14th, and then some were like, oh, Red Dog, it's a double top, and then we kind of bleeded down, and then we had that gap and go to the downside. That's what kind of took out some of the FOMO / some of the momentum in tech, and then like, oh, well, if Apple could gap down and stay below the 50-day, I think that's what started to, the Qs came off, and then Microsoft, Amazon, Google, if Apple, which is the best company in the world, I think, is below the 50-day and can't fill this gap, chances are a lot of people like, what, there was such a big move in tech, we got to take some risk down. So that's how we started the year. And then yesterday we had 180.88, and then we're a little bit below. And now if you take a look at the level 2 of Apple right now, Apple is a little bit above it. They just tried to hit it. Let me give you one more cute little chart here. Look at all these little charts. That's what happened here. It came down. Could you see the other? Could you see the level 2 on there, Mike?
No, you need to. So wherever your charts are, you need to pull the level 2 over there.
That's what I did. Oh, so it doesn't see the actual. Okay, anyway, we'll do that for another time. So I'll pull this back. So bottom line is Apple right now is coming up a little bit. You know what I could do? I could go like this. I could switch it to my 90-minute. That's what happened just with Apple. Actually, no. Let's go.
90-minute. This is history. I've never seen Scott
1 hour.
pull up a
1 hour.
1 hour chart. I've never seen this before.
So let's go. No, let's go even a little shorter term. Yes, we can go short. Let's go 3 minute. That's what just happened. So everyone's like, Red, what happened? What happened? Basically, there's some news out there that finally the U.S. is close to an antitrust case against Apple. Just the bottom line is, don't worry about this long term if you're an investor. They've been talking about antitrust trials in Microsoft since the 80s. So there's always some volatility around it, depending on the narrative. But overall, if you're an investor in Apple, don't be selling it because of this. But if you're a trader today, you need to know that we just put a low in for the week in Apple. And we're trying to rally. So this is where it broke. And if you're actively looking at it, we'll see, this was prior support. It's coming back up to there. There's a bit of a void there. So that's what just brought the Qs in. You can look at the Qs. Qs didn't come in as much, which is good. So anyway, that's what, you always have to connect the dots. That's why I try and show everyone as a trader. It's connecting the dots. So Qs came back in after a little bit of a rally off the lows. I love to just draw lines, Michael. Look at this ascending channel here. Everyone's like, what happened? Look, that's where we broke. If you were playing a bounce, we played a really good bounce this morning. I made most of my money in the Qs. Then we trended down, and then someone like, look at that little push down failure in the Qs, which was right here with a bit of a double bottom. This is what traders have all day long. Up, came back up. This is that. So now here's a little bit of a bear flag. So watch this spot. So watch this spot in the Qs. We head back lower, and Apple was the one that definitely just brought us down here. So if we can't get back above this spot and make it like the news doesn't matter, it might make for it's 238, a little bit of a complicated close. And I have other things outside of Apple, but I'm in NVIDIA, I'm in AMD, and they're kind of isolated Apple, but we'll get to that. So anyway, that's the real-time trading, Red Dog. By the way, I do have a beverage. I got a vodka soda high noon because I started a diet for January. There's no beer in January. You know why? Because beer, I like IPAs, has like, how many calories do you think in a beer? 280, about 24 carbs, and this has about 100 calories and 6 carbs. So on our Friday when we do our powwow, I want to have a beverage with everyone because I'm very social, Red Dog. And I try not to drink Sunday through Thursday, so don't get me wrong. It's Sunday through Thursday by 12 o'clock. So don't think we're doing this all day long. It's just today. So cheers to everybody that's tuning in and that's trying to make a living trading, because it's not a get-rich-quick scheme career. So if you're on Twitter and someone tweets you and says they turned $2,000 into $272,000 in an hour, it's a scam. Then I'm turning 2,000 to 272,000. What they're probably doing is they're trying to lure you in and scam your money. Trading is it's a grind. That's why I do Rise and Grind every day. Trading is a long-term career that you can make money at and have a great life, but you're not going to turn 10,000 into 150,000 typically in a day and a half. Those guys are scams. So anyway, I just rambled for a while. Let's go back to where we were at.
All right. So first, we want to get the comments going. So guys, let us know how you're starting the year. Give yourself a grade. Give yourself an A if you've been killing it.
Oh, I can see everyone's comments too.
Yeah, give yourself an F if it's not going so great. So let us know in the comments. Let us know how you're doing. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're watching on Twitter, give us a like, give us a retweet. We want to get as many people involved as possible because this is a community and we want everybody able to speak their mind. So Scott, let's talk a little bit about the Santa Claus rally, because, we've seen Santa Claus. He was very, very happy on Halloween and Thanksgiving. 2024.
Look at the money in his mouth. I didn't see the money in his mouth. Yeah. That's very cool. You're getting good at that.
Yeah. So the S&P went from 15% from October 27th up to December 28th. So Scott, what is going on here? Did Santa Claus let us down?
No, I just think, like you just showed, he ate a little bit too much during Thanksgiving, and he was probably dressed as someone else during Halloween. So, you just showed 15% in gains. It just was too much. That's why it's a little confusing right now, because you're going to see a lot of articles this weekend about so goes January, so goes the year. First 5 days are the most important indicator of 2024. I don't think you could put, so much preference on that because of the size of the gains that you could put that slide back up that we had in November and December. So with that said, we pulled in, I don't even know, 10 points in the SPYs, very incremental spot. So the market's doing market discovery. I love market discovery because it gives me points of reference to trade against. Like I said, I wasn't sure what the market was going to do. On Tuesday, I got a little beat up, which is fine. We adjusted. And then the rest of the week, we tried to be a bit more flexible, which I do think we need to be even still, moving into, the rest of this month, because you're starting to see, a bunch of different earnings softness. We saw, I listed them this morning in my note, JD Sports, Nike, FedEx. So the question is, will the market be okay with earnings coming in a little bit light? Because the Fed wants the economy to weaken, so inflation starts going lower, which it has. So we could lower rates, but the question is how fast, right? That's why today was important. How fast are we weakening? Are we heading to a recession or a soft landing? I am personally in the soft landing camp. My thought is we're going to see at least a move above S&P 4,800 towards 5,200. I just don't know, if it's going to be start in March or April. So I'm trying to be flexible, watching the action from day to day, week to week, because that's what we do actively for a living.
Okay. All right. So Scott, so next week is going to be a busy week. We have the CPI, we have the PPI, we have the bank earnings starting on Friday. Do you think this week's sluggishness is a good setup for this busy week coming?
Well, it kind of shakes up sentiment, which is good. Sentiment was way too bullish. I remember the last one we did last Friday. We showed how 1 year ago at this time there were bears everywhere, and we wound up having a rally to start the first quarter. And then this year, because price was extended and price definitely influences sentiment, was so high they had to shake it up, and now it's a little bit more neutral. Like the oscillator was plus 55 last week. Now we're like minus 20. So at least it's common ground. So maybe through earnings season, companies that perform and have good earnings and good guidance will go up. And those who don't, like we saw with Mobileye, they're not going to give a pass to. So companies are going to have to perform. And I think it's to be very specific, which is good for us, instead of just, it all being at a correlation of one where everything's up or everything's down. So this week kind of took out some of the fluff of the move. I'd like to go quickly back to the actual daily chart of the SPYs, because some people, started making fun of me that I was trying to forecast the future with my small head and shoulders pattern that I said I kind of see happening, and I'm just going to be aware of, so you don't fall, you don't get hypnotized by the action. You don't get bullish because we're up or bearish because we're down. We go at the level. So I'm going to show the screen one more time.
Yeah, okay, I'll say that anybody out there, if you are buying or selling anything, you are making a forecast of some kind. So don't kid yourself.
This is true. Can you see this? Can you see the SPYs?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
On the screen.
So I like to post patterns, and I do on the weekends. I post a cheat sheet for candlesticks. I post a cheat sheet for chart patterns, and within there, you could take a quick little look here. We did have a little bit of a topping tail here. There is a topping tail. That is a candle when you switch momentum from maybe the bulls to the bears or the sellers, and it usually doesn't mean much until you get a trade below it, which happened on the Friday of 2023 that broke this ascending channel. Then from there we had a pretty sharp move lower. Okay, not a big move lower, but if you were too long, you definitely got hurt. So some people like, hey, Red Dog, where do you think we can go where we could allocate money for then a move back towards the highs of December or the highs from the 4810? I'm like, well, I think we can get to here. I'm just forecasting in my mind, because I've been doing this for 25 years, 460-ish. Sometimes, and it doesn't happen in a straight line. That's why today, even, when everyone started getting more bullish, I'm like, no, I'm like, this 470, 471-ish is resistance. Now the 8-day, that was support during this entire rally from Halloween that got confirmed before Thanksgiving, changed. Like the trend changed. The trend changed because we went below the 8-day, and now we're trying to hug the 21-day. can we see 460? So Mike, what I can kind of see happening is a little bit of a head and shoulders top pattern being built where we bounce off this area, which we're trying to bounce off this area, this 466 to 468. And we build a right shoulder. And if things continue to deteriorate a little bit and momentum starts to slow and they sell rallies and there's no more leadership, which we've been losing some leadership, then maybe this breaks. And that's how we get this, this 460 whenever it is that happens. It could happen in, it could happen next week. It could happen a little bit later. And like you just said, we have the CPI next week, which is Thursday. So today is Friday. A lot can kind of happen between now and Thursday. So for today, the trade really was a decent trade to be long, kind of pre-market, or you had 15, 20 minutes before they kind of pushed everything into, if you mapped out a resistance area where I'm the king of buying high and selling higher. I'm going to do my best to not do that over the next few weeks and just take trades because this market needs to rebuild.
Okay. All right. So I just want to ask everyone out in the audience, how are you feeling going into next week? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Are you going to wait and see? Let us know in the comments how you are positioned going into next week. So Scott, you and I talked yesterday about the sort of parallel with Eli Lilly and NVIDIA. And I'll pull up the charts quickly. Okay. So Lilly felt like it sort of lulled everybody to sleep, and then it just like skyrocketed out of nowhere. It was like the best performing stock in the S&P. And now NVIDIA sort of feels like there could be hints that perhaps this is next to go. So how are you looking at these names yourself?
All right. So Lilly is, big winner, big winner, big narrative, take a pill and lose weight. Isn't that fun? Which I don't believe in. We can get to that. So Lilly, which I'm going to share my screen. I liked your chart, but to be honest, I like my charts a little bit better. So if you look here, you'll see here's Lilly's chart. So
Scott, you need to hit the share button.
Did I do it? You see it?
Yep, we're up. It's
okay.
up.
It's up. I don't know. You gotta give me a second. Come on. By the way, Apple is down $1 and the SPYs are bleeding a little bit, and so far this bounce isn't holding today. So anyway, so Lilly was right here. So Lilly hit 629 back on October 13th, right? So October, November, December into January. So 3 to 4 months. So the question was, could it make another move? You had this consolidation phase where a lot of people are getting chopped up. Here it looked like it was ready to go, needed more time. They bearish bar, inside candles looked like it was going to break lower. It didn't. Here, I remember a lot of guys on December 8th, they finally knew it was going to go. No. And then all of a sudden, looked like it was going to go on December 13th. No. So what ranges do and patterns do, they try and get everyone as offsides as possible and wear everyone out before finally you get a sustained move that you can make really good money at. So this being the leader in this sector, and NVIDIA is the leader in my opinion, in the semis, even though it lagged in December with AI. And so finally, it got very tight. It it started to trade a little bit above the moving averages, created a bull flag within this pattern. And then on this day, which was January 2nd, it poked its head above this pattern. And that was when actually you called me. You're like, I see you got long Lilly. Do you want it to be a power play? I'm like, I think finally, after, October, 4 months of consolidation, because sometimes that's what it takes to consolidate a move, because there are a lot of people that own it from lower, is ready to go. So I bought it. Some guys in the Alpha team bought it. We put it on our power plays. And I'm like, I think if it's any good, it should get at least up to 629. But then that would be bad if it doesn't really create a new pattern there and go to 650 or more, because you want to play a breakout that really goes and not a fake out. We had a lot of fake outs in 2022. That was a horrible year. Every time stocks look good, you had to sell them. They look bad, you had to buy them. So PS, this was a great, however you want to slice it, there was so many good things to do there, but, depending on the type of trader you are. If you do take things overnight, this was your day one move above here. And although there were a few of these that failed and frustrated everyone, this one worked. finally it worked and it wanted to wear you out. So a lot of people are like, Red Dog, I don't want to do it again. I'm like, you have to do it again. The market doesn't remember that you bought it here or bought it here or bought it here. Now it looks a little bit better. It's above the moving average. It's shown leadership. A lot of things were down that day. Money rotated into the Pfizers and this and that. And then PS went, you had a day one that led to a day two. I usually like to buy day one. Some people add on day two. I reduce. And then you even had a move above 629 to 636 for extra cash flow. And then today wasn't a bad day either. Kind of played with this pivot here, which was 613. And now I'd like to see it rebuild here for additional gains. I'd say you can even lower this now because you had some price discovery. I would say that it shouldn't really get below this unless it's going to start getting choppier again. And again, we're trying to figure out the narrative of this tape. And right now, hopefully it could build again and go and reward guys for this new active sequence that started here. So this was a leader from last year that consolidated and went. So we're trying to figure out what leaders from this year, or last year, can consolidate and go in other sectors. So if you look right here, so we'll relate it to NVIDIA. Do you want to show your chart first?
Of NVIDIA?
Yeah.
Yep.
So you see that line there? It's like it's are you smarter than a third grader? Well, sometimes it's just, are you smarter than a third grader? You get above that line and it stays above that line, you get another move. So now we'll go to my chart in the video, which is just a little bit more granular because I'm that kind of granular guy. And you look here, the video looks pretty good still. Okay, it looks better than a lot of other tech. It's now above the moving averages. It's still into resistance, but for 6 months now, NVIDIA has been really hard. People thought it was too quick. It got sold on earnings, and then it came to the bottom end of the range, didn't break, and then the ascending channel broke to the downside. Then you remember here that red dog reversal. This was a really good trade when everyone thought this was going to be a head and shoulders top pattern, and then it changed, went back to the upper end, failed to break out, and now it's getting close again. A lot of people, when I bought NVIDIA, actually today, some of them bought yesterday. Actually, no, I bought it. Like, I don't want to do it again. I'm like, well, you have to. I'm like, because if NVIDIA finally gets above this 499 to 505 area with authority and the market gets a little bit better, which right now it's still in market discovery mode, chances are you want to be in this and get a sustained move. Traders love sustained moves. We love just chopping back and forth. That's a pain in the butt. Then you have to take trades, and then if you take a trade too early, you feel like you have the FOMO. So at this point, there's this is on the radar. This should be on your radar for the next few weeks for tech, and it would be nice if it could hold up here. And at this point, Apple's getting weaker. Remember I talked to you guys about Apple? Well, let's just quickly go back, because we are real traders, real time. And here's this 180.88, and it's going below it. You go to your 5-minute or 3-minute chart. It just got rejected into this support that became resistance, and as it goes down, you're starting to see the spies come back to the lows. Actually, you want to see a head and shoulders top pattern. It works on all time frames. Right here it happened. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Here, even a little red dog reversal where it pushed above here and failed into that spot. Just these, you could look at these chart patterns in so many different time frames. So at this point now, hopefully the spies hold this spot. Otherwise, we're going to have a pretty bad last hour. But what did that was this Apple. Okay, so Apple still hasn't made a low to that reactionary low. By the way, reactionary low, there was news. So how did the stock react to it? Well, there's your reactionary low right there. And the H-cell setup. Mike, how many times we go over the H-cell setup in T3 Lab land?
About 73 times.
A day. No, that means we're in a bear market. I hate those things. But anyway, this came down, and then sometimes what happens is people short a rally. It creates an H into prior support, turns into resistance, and then rolls down. And then if it breaks this, you could add to it. But better to sometimes short a rally before pressing, because sometimes pressing could hurt. So it was really Apple that did that. And now NVIDIA, which I am long right now, is rolling over too, because again, if Apple is going to make lower lows on the week, why do people think NVIDIA is all of a sudden going to be breaking out today? So this is the 3-minute chart on the video. Let's go. What is a 5-minute chart on the video looks like? It's also, it's like now if you had like momentum shares today thinking we were going to close strong, you'd have to really think to yourself, how much of this do you really want to have just in case, we roll down in the last hour if Apple, breaks that low that we just pointed to. But these are just day trading active thoughts that we do every day to keep us safe and keep us profitable. But the main intermediate thought was we had a great trade for lots of different time frames in Lilly. Will something in Techland be able to do that? As of now, there's a lot of eyes on the video.
Okay, all right. So Scott, let's pull back a little bit, big picture in terms of strategy going forward. Can the market rally without Apple?
You know what? It rallied without Apple in December when it made its high and it drifted. But when Apple makes lower lows, it definitely makes people think that no one's going to be in a rush to be buying Microsoft, Amazon, Google, or a lot of other different tech because, again, Apple is, to me, the strongest, best company in the world. There are other good ones, but when it's starting to break down and they're saying, hey, iPhone's slowing, the PE is too high, then they start looking at other stocks and saying, hey, maybe that PE is too high, or if that can't hold up, or if that can ignore that news, let's just be a little bit more careful with other names, which is what started this year. And actually, Apple right now is breaking that 180.50. So yeah, so it's not letting the market have an oversold bounce today.
Okay, all right. So let's, in terms of big picture trends. So last year it was all about AI. And now this year, every AI stock except for SMCI. I pulled up basically our little AI universe. Everything is down year to date except for SMCI, which kind of feels like normal hangover after such a big move. But what would you say, what inning do you think we're in for AI?
That's a good question. Let me just see something real quick. What inning? Well, it's funny how give you the.
I'm asking you for a forecast, Red Dog.
I think it's in the early stages. Listen, I remember when you had the .com era in the year 2000 when Nasdaq went to 5,000, but things got ahead of themselves and valuations got ahead of themselves. I still think these companies have been making big money before AI, and what AI is doing is enhancing their business. So when the economy might be hitting a recession, this and that, these companies are able to get more efficient, so their bottom lines get better, and it added some excitement. So if I were to say AI, I think it's in the 4th inning. And there's going to be a lot more uses of it. It's going to become a lot more mainstream. There's going to be different types of AI. I'm not going to get into all the different types. But I think that you had a bit of a hype phase. And then now we know who the players are. And then there should be a lot more players that come in. And then all the big companies, might even get more efficient and get better and get more profitable because, fortunately or unfortunately, some jobs are going to be replaced with the efficiency of AI.
Okay, guys, let us know in the comments, what inning do you think we are in for AI? Are we early? Are we late? Let us know in the comments, and also retweet, comment. We want this to be as interactive as possible. The show is for you, so make sure you interact with us, and because we want everybody to let their voice be heard. So in terms of
let me say, I want to see who's talking.
All right, it's
Manuel Costa, no inning, never ending game. All right, Gilly, Ali is, AI has been around for 20 years. Apple 200 EMA is, you have the MA at 180. Just if you want to look ahead a little bit, just again, I want to talk a little bit of real time here because I want people to be able to watch us, make money, be safe, and learn. And what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking Apple. Oops, hold on. Should be able to, hold this 178 area. So this is Apple. Okay, here's your hole in the chart that ignited the move lower. It's below all the moving averages. I have the EMA up. So if you remember post earnings, we've opened down and filled the gap. I remember getting long right around here for a great sequence that stayed above the 8-day for a while. I would think if we close weak today, I'm not saying we are, but if we close below yesterday's low today, Okay, that means it wasn't strong enough to hold a prior day's low. Then there's a good chance that we see the 200 EMA, which is 178. There are some thinking that, hey, we're going to see as low as 157.50, which was another prior breakout from the weekly chart. If that's the case, the S&P is going a lot lower. Then we're going to really be dragged. But I think short term, if we close below this spot, I wouldn't be long it. I do think this 178-ish area, which is a 200 EMA, is a spot to test it. I haven't been long Apple this entire year, and that's a lot for me. But the year's only 4 days. I've stayed away from it. But I will look there if the setup is correct. Mikey?
Okay. All right. So Scott, why don't you tell us what you've been up to today? I know you were in Peloton and some other names. So what have you been trading today?
Well, this morning I bought the SPYs after the number, which worked out well. Then I bought the Qs, around 9 o'clock, 9:05. I tweeted to Redler All Access, I'm buying the Qs. I think they can go green. AMD was lower because I saw strength in NVIDIA, and we did that, and then bought some more NVIDIA, and I did have Peloton, and I bought that INGN, and I booked some trades, holding some trades, and I still have some leftover options for the months ahead. So at this point, I'm still very light compared to where I was a few weeks ago, and I just want to net money. I want to see where the market's going. Things just are not feel like they're ready yet. Like today, we shouldn't have given back as much as we did today, and we're probably gonna get more bad news from different earnings from different companies like we've seen. So we'll get to a spot where our earnings disappointment, and that stock will rally, and then we'll know it's priced in. But after the move we saw in November and December, and how we started this year, I think you really want to play defense, not offense.
Okay. Do you think, because I saw numbers from FactSet and earnings estimates have come down quite a bit for Q4 earnings, which starts next week. Do you think people are still too optimistic regarding this upcoming earnings season?
I just don't know how optimistic everyone is. I think people just don't want it to be so bad. They know that we're in a slowdown. They know the Fed raised rates enough to slow companies down. The question is, were they efficient enough to kind of hang in there, or how slow did we go, and how bad are the earnings going to be, or what's the forecast going to be like? Because if it's that negative, after they expanded a lot of these PEs last year, then that we have to retrace lower than we've already retraced in the first 4 days of the year. And banks start next Friday, and banks have had a pretty big run since October. So they better be good, and they better be positive. Otherwise, those banks are going to probably get hit. But that's a next Thursday, Friday focus, not today.
Okay, so we will get to more questions. I just want to show you guys, we have an opportunity for you to join Scott's Alpha Team VTF. You can go to t3live.com/show, and you can join for just $37. You get 1 month of the Alpha Team VTF service so that you see Scott's trades live in his trading room. This is 1 month of access. Plus you get Active Trader Summit recording. So this is full video training in Scott's system. It's a live event he held in New York. You also get training from T3's Sami Abu Saad in his swing trading system. So this is what the VTF looks like. For example, today, people saw Scott buying AMD pre-market, winning trade, all the other ones, and you see it. This is live without a safety net. So you see what Scott trades, when he trades it, works on iOS, works on Android. Again, 90.5% off. It's a $390 value. You get in for $37. Go to t3live.com/show, t3live.com/show, and you can sign up today. So let's go back to Scott. So Scott, do you have time to take some questions from our friends out in the audience?
Let's do a few, because we're going to be doing this every week, or try to. We're trying to go 45 minutes to 3:15 with a hard stop, so then everyone can pay attention to the markets and trade the close, because things are moving around, and I don't want anyone to lose money by not focusing on their positions. And I have to go back to trading.
Okay, yeah. So Scott, actually, yes, folks, he is a real trader. We know that is rare these days. So guys, if you have questions, put them in the questions box. and let us know what is on your mind. So, Scott, I know we got questions. People in the chat are talking about Uber. What do you think of Uber? Can you pull up a chart?
Yeah, of course. Let's go to
What
Uber.
kind of question? I'm asking Scott
What?
Redler if he can pull up a chart. How silly is that?
Kid Redler. I've actually even learned how to do it online. Okay, so let's talk Uber. Let's go to present.
Hit the, make
Your
sure you
screen.
hit the
I
screen.
got it. I got it, Mikey. All right, there we go. Takes a second. All right, so Uber, a lot of people on the Alpha team have been playing during a lot of this rally from October, November. It was a leader. So if you were in it during that time period, awesome. I like leaders when they're above the 8 and 21 day. I like momentum names when they don't provide any pain. So at this point, most people would have gotten out of Uber in my world when, probably this day, maybe not this day, but when it broke below the 8-day moving average, that was the first time I really had to close besides right here, below that 8-day moving average, this entire trend. Look how strong that trend was. Look at this day right here. This was a bullish engulfing bar that broke out above 49.49, tested it, held it, and then boom. Here you got a little extended, pulled back to the 8-day. Here, a little choppy, got choppy up here. Unfortunately, I would think some traders probably got a little faked out. I would have also thinking we're going to have another breakout after a consolidation. That is why I had some options on in Amazon and in Microsoft, because you thought, hey, for the whole month of December, after a huge move, it's consolidated. Why can't this go? And then unfortunately, it did kind of like a breakout failure. So if you saw that happening, this shouldn't have, hopefully you reduce as an active trader right there on the breakout failure. And now it seems like it just put in a bear flag. It just broke below this area. And I'd be looking to see, the 50-day, because if Apple can't hold the 50-day, again, the thought is, why is anything else way above elevated from the 50-day, and why can't the Qs get to the 50-day? So I would look at this spot. This spot's 56-ish. So we'll see what happens there. A lot of people, obviously, COVID's over. They're taking more Ubers and they're out and about. But using trends, this was in a fantastic, strong, crazy strong trend, and that changed right here. And if you hopefully realize that you didn't get too hurt in this gap down that just created a bit of a bear flag, that I would think you'd see at least 56, if not more.
Okay, so Scott, we're getting Naveed is asking, can you just very, very quickly recap your thoughts on NVIDIA?
Okay, let's go back to NVIDIA.
Just really quick.
All right,
and guys, let us know in the chat, what stocks do you want Scott to go over?
Well, NVIDIA again came into resistance, looked really good, but the market isn't ready yet. You're still getting bad news, and Apple finally wasn't a headwind today, and then it became a headwind on that antitrust news. Some other things look stronger today, like maybe you could buy high and sell high, like Microsoft was up $2.50 before fading. Google was weak all day. Amazon was blah. So they're trying to figure out, is there a name in tech that people are thinking about they might miss? So I would say short term now, this low here is 483. So I would love to see on a short term time frame it hold, just say 483. By the way, big technical term for me is ish, 483-ish. And if it could do some work above 483 while other things are breaking below the 50 to going lower, that means it's showing relative strength after a 6-month base. And then when the market's finally ready to not fail like it failed today or sell every rally, I think NVIDIA will be one that can be a sustained move above 500. And when that happens, then I'll say, okay, maybe now the market's ready to trend up again. But until we get to that spot where the market's ready, they're not going to let things like this, just take off. So from 473 to where we went today, 495, that's what today's high is. Nice trade. Now, what I would love to see it do instead of getting choppier, I'd love to see it hold 483 into next week, especially for a little weaker, to show relative strength. And then finally, if the market's like, you know what, it's time to get a bit of better action and more of a rally, then it's probably going to take out this area and not look back. So the next time it closes above 500 or 502, I'm going to be very, very big in it. But for now, it's kind of still trying to prove that something could hold elevated levels and then maybe go kind of like what we saw in an obviously totally different sector, which was Eli Lilly. That is why we tried to compare the choppiness of that before it had a big 3-day move to new highs, where this should be something that could do that once the market's ready to, to lift and sustain a lift. Cheers.
Okay. All right. Yes. Cheers. My milk is almost gone. Okay, Scott.
Something's rallying right now for me, by the way. MSOS. Let me just look at that for a second.
Yeah. Okay. We actually got a request from our friend Randy. He wants to know what's going on with MSOS.
First of all, this was on my do not touch list for a while because it's such a bad sector. It's been a bad sector for so long. And full disclosure, I'm in a private placement or private company from 2001. I thought of 2020 that was supposed to go public in 2022 and make a lot of money, and it's 2024, and there's 400 different deals in the backlog. So I've been following the sector closely, hopefully where we can get more acceptance. Well, it's accepted, but more states going legal, which we've seen a bunch go from medicinal to recreational, which has been happening. And now we have to get rid of the federal blanket, right? There's a federal blanket that, you can't like do wires, this and that. So that they're talking about a safe banking bill that might open, commerce with wellness from state to state. There's talk about this DA scenario where, infractions are not as treated the same. So anyway, that's what's getting this buzz going. MSOS is the U.S.-based cannabis names that are all on the pink sheets. They don't trade, in regular NASDAQ. I can't even trade them. So this MSOS is a actual ETF that does it. It's poking its head above this spot. I'm in it for a few things. A, I think the January effect, because it was beaten up and now you can't take tax losses, and B, fundamentally might change with this DEA law and the safe banking bill. So I think there's some opportunity there. I've lost money trying this a bunch of different times. As of right now, it's perking up, which is cool. I have some options on. I have some of the ETF on, and we'll see on the weekly chart if it could work its way back up to this spot here, which is what's this high? This is it's like 9 and change to $10, and then this 14 area is a much bigger area. So not claiming victory that hey, it's up. Well, what is it up right now? It's MSOS is MSOS. It's up 7.6%, but that's nice. Yeah, you get a nice little mover when the market's coming in and your P&L's going up. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Maybe people don't want to be shorted over the weekend, and let's hope that fundamentally this group gets better, and within the next 6 to 9 months, my deal comes public, and then it'll be drinks for everybody.
Oh, okay. All right, Scott, we're getting questions on Tesla. Always a biggie. A couple of people asking about Tesla. So what do you see? Very quickly, what do you see in there?
314, I'm going to leave with Tesla. Tesla's not special. Tesla's been a pain in the butt. Tesla, if you look at the chart, if you remember, I was pretty focused on Tesla. Towards the end of December, looked really good here, broke above this ascending trend line. What happened was it got above 259, couldn't hold it, came back in. This is your weekly chart. Let's go to the daily chart, and then it's been weak ever since. Bearish engulfing candle. Here's a definition of a bearish engulfing candle. That was right here. Look at that. Got above this 263.33, couldn't hold it. That's also a red dog reversal sell, that if you're long, you sell some. If you're looking for a short, that was your entry. Verse that high, which is 265, and if you did that, you made a bunch. Now look at Tesla. Tesla, which is supposed to be a tech leader, darling, is down to the 200-day, which is another reason why tech was kind of weaker this week, because you had Apple below the 50-day, you had Tesla coming to the 200-day, but this was not as much of a surprise because Tesla lagged all of last year, so it's been showing relative weakness. So at this point, do I think that this is the low of January? It's at the 200-day. If you can't hold the 200-day, that means a lot more downside for this name. Elon is on the floor. Where's Elon? Anyway, at this point, it's a trade. It's a technical, tactical trade for now. It's not an active sequence like we've had. That's the reason why I didn't make as much, I think, last year as I made, because usually when Tesla's great, I'm focused on it. It trades through levels. It pays you when you're right. This year, it's been like when it looks its worst, you have to buy it. When it looks its best, you have to sell it. and it's just been one big range. So if you go back to the weekly chart, for instance, it lagged a lot. Like this was the high in Tesla. There was a nice trade here. May, I had my best actual quarter last year, second quarter. It was when this happened. And then you had another outside day kind of right here. And then that created a wedge. You thought it would be good. And you had another outside candle. And now it seems like this area better hold. Otherwise, there's a whole nother pocket pivot level below. So it's tough. There's so many EV makers out there. Elon has his hands in so many different things. And it's just when it's not trading well, all of a sudden people start focusing on the valuation. When it's trading well, it's a cold stock. People don't care. As of right now, it's not special. Take trades. It needs to prove that you could sit in there again. If you're an investor in Tesla from 10, however, 5-6 years ago, it is what it is. But if you trade actively for a living and get paid, the end of January for the first quarter of this year, it's not something you could just sit in for now.
Okay. Tesla, not something you can just sit there and trust. Okay, so Scott, do you have to get back to trading?
I do. It's 3:15. Listen, we got to go tight and right. 45 minutes. Otherwise, this is going to be hard to do every week. I'm going to try and do this every week with you because we've got a lot of requests from everybody out there. Everyone's sick of people that play traders on TV. They don't see things real time. They don't figure out how to make money. And these guys who make it like it's so easy because they don't get paid to do it. They get paid to talk about it. I'm here. I do this. I'm in the trenches with you. I work on my routine every day, my process every day. That's why I'm in the sauna. I'm in my ice barrel. I'm doing all these things to get my mind right. And I'm trying to tell you what I do because there are things you have to do to get your mind right. So when you see a situation, get presented in front of you, you're thinking clearly enough to execute with confidence so you can make money. Guys in the Alpha team, they don't just follow what I do. They know what I do. They know why I do it. And sometimes they lead me there because, they're a little bit more specific in their setup where I'm, scattered talking to Fox Business, or Mike's asking me to do something for this, or the CEO is here, or whatever it is. Bottom line is I do this for a living. I am the chief strategic officer, so I have another role besides being the founding partner. But in order for my wife to give me high fives, I need to make money quarterly, get extra paychecks so I can get ahead too. So if I'm doing well, that means most people follow me are doing well. And God forbid something happens to Red Dog, I'm trying to teach you how to fish or how to dig for bones. So if I'm not here, I can't do this anymore. I want you to be able to do it forever. And we're going to try and go with this all year. And the only way we're going to do this all year is if our audience grows. So if you want me to do this with Michael 4 weeks a month, then retweet this, get people to watch it. Otherwise, we're not doing it. I'm not sitting here just talking to Mike. I could talk to him on the phone. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, that's that. We're trying to expand to TikTok, YouTube. I'm trying to get a little less Twitter type stuff, and we're figuring that out right now, to be honest.
Okay. All right. So Scott, as always, thank you. We love having you. And yeah, guys, we want to do this every Friday, and the cost of admission is a retweet, a like, a comment. So we just want everybody interacting with us as much as possible. So Scott, we will leave you to go get it back out there and make money. Scott has 41 minutes to make some money before the weekend.
Yes, and then I get to go. Then I get to go watch my son Chase. He's today his first Friday game with having a 7:00 game at DJ Milburn High School. So he's excited. So I'm excited to go watch. So make sure you do what you do to make yourself happy over the weekend, so you can make some memories. I think me and Mikey came up with one of our memes that we've been doing for 2024. Make make memories and money. And if you make money and no memories, the money means nothing because you have no one to share with and you have no experiences to enjoy. So do a little bit of everything, and I think you can last a long time in the markets.
Okay, thanks, Scott. But guys, stick around. Scott, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to remove you from the room so you can get back there. So guys, if you want to save huge on Scott's trading room, Dan, thank you for joining us. If you want to stay here with Scott to get his trades live, I'm going to go over this very quickly. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, all right. So you can get Scott's trades live. Like you can see what he's buying and selling in real time. In fact, if you buy this now, you can get in the room and join Scott and see what he's doing into the close. So again, you get it's a $195 value for the Alpha Team VTF That's his live trades in his trading room. You get a month of access. And then you also get the Active Trader Summit recordings, which is a live event Scott held in New York City. You get the video replay. So it's full training in a system plus video trading from Sami Abu Saad, who's also an awesome trader. Again, in the VTF, you see what Scott trades live. So if he's buying AMD, he's selling Tesla, whatever it is, you see it all live, and it's awesome. So again, 90% off. This is a $390 value for $37. Go to t3live.com/show, t3live.com/show if you want to join to get Scott's ideas live. I'm going to pop the link out there in the comments. But guys, again, if you want to see us doing this every week, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, retweet on whatever platform you are, because we want to get this audience as big as possible. We had several thousands of people showed up today, and we want to get even bigger. So thank you guys. So Dan just signed up. Dan, thank you. He just signed up for Alpha Team. Again, go to t3live.com/show, and you can get Scott's trades live. So that will close us out. So guys, everybody, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. We will be back here next Friday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, talking stocks, life, everything else. And make sure you bring a drink. I had milk today. Scott had a beer. Feel free to bring a drink. Okay, bye guys. Thanks a lot.